Good day, viewers. Today we're going to be talking about diet and the importance thereof, and just to share a little bit of stories that I've had of patients that have struggled with their diet and the consequences thereof. The first story that comes to mind is a young man that I treated. He was in his early 20s and he was an IT guy and he did a lot of working behind the computer, and by the time he came to me, the doctors were considering diagnosing him with Marfan syndrome. Now, he was a very tall man with very long fingers and very long toes, and Marfan syndrome indicates that you might have heart complications, and the tallness and the long fingers and toes are one of the symptoms of the Marfan syndrome. So he was referred to me because he was complaining of back pain and leg pain and headaches and neck pain and that. So I just went through the general regime that I always do with all my patients, asking them 10 million questions about their life and their lifestyles and what their problems are and when did their problems start and how long they've been suffering with this, and was there an accident or was there anything that could have involved it. And basically what he used to do was he used to drink 36 cups of coffee a day. He would not eat breakfast, he would not eat lunch, and for supper he had 2-minute noodles. So when he came to me and I asked him to bend his legs and do a bridging exercise where you just literally lift your bum up, he could not do it because he was too weak. So we spent the next couple of months strengthening up with Pilates exercises and focusing on his diet. And he was banned from drinking that many amount of coffee. He was only allowed to drink maximum of 3 cups of coffee a day. That includes, if you're also a tea drinker, a maximum of 3 teas and coffees combined throughout the day. And he was forbidden for eating 2-minute noodles, because that's all he ate. And he was to eat a proper meal for lunch and a proper meal for supper and not takeaways. He was to do a salad, and he was to do proper meats to get his proteins in, because what happens is his body was breaking down itself, eating the muscles for energy and proteins, because it wasn't getting any energy and proteins in. It was causing a huge inflammatory reaction in his body, and this is what can activate your medical conditions in your DNA and cause you to become very, very sick. So a few months down the line, after he changed his diet, we went through the whole regime again, asking him all the questions as to where we were standing now. And he reported that he was still nauseous in the morning. And I asked him when the nausea left, and he said it left at 12 o'clock. And I asked him when was his first meal that he ate, and he told me it was 11 o'clock. And I said to him, if you look clearly, it means that it takes an hour for your body to digest its food, which takes away the nausea, which goes away at 12 o'clock. He had to start eating earlier in the day so that his nausea would go away sooner. And he did this and he became better, and he started doing his Pilates exercises and he strengthened up beautifully, and his back pain went away, his headaches went away, and he was fabulous. Second patient was a diabetic, and she would keep going into low sugar levels and going into diabetic comas and that. And she had cut out all carbs, because a lot of diabetics get told you're not allowed to have carbs, and so she was under the influence that this meant all salads, all vegetables, all everything. So she only had proteins, and this is extremely bad for you. You do need to eat your vegetables, you do need to eat your salads. And since we've corrected her diet where she's eating healthy salads and vegetables with her proteins, she no longer has these episodes. So I was talking to a gentleman this morning, and we were just talking about general health, and he was saying, he eats a nice bowl of cereal in the morning. And when I asked him when he got hungry, he reported that he's hungry within 2 hours after a meal. If you're hungry within 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours after you've eaten, that meal was not substantial enough. You need to increase the protein content and reduce your starches. I've been doing several investigations or experiments with my son, where I will feed him porridge for breakfast and send him to school, and then I will find out from him later in the day how his day went. And he often reports that by the time he reaches school, he is so ravenous, he wants to eat his lunch, but because school has already started, he can't, and then he has to suffer the entire morning starving until break time at 9 o'clock. And he says he doesn't get to focus on what the teacher is saying, he doesn't hear what she's saying, because all he can think of is, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So we make sure we give him a high protein meal in the morning, especially children that are growing. They need their proteins to grow. And so he gets a high protein meal in the morning, and this lasts him through till lunchtime, which is there 9 o'clock in the morning, and he eats at 6 in the morning because they leave early. I've also done experiments on him where I send him a sandwich to school, And usually I'd pack him a salad and then I'd put the meat separately on its own, so the meat and the salad. And he'll come back and he'll say it was a fabulous day, he wasn't hungry at all, and often he doesn't finish his food. And on the day that I put exactly the same thing in his lunchbox, but I put the meat on a bread roll or on a slice of bread, he comes home and he's ravenous and he's eaten his entire lunchbox. And why this is because starch in the form of your bread and other starches breaks down exceptionally quickly into a sugar, which makes you very hungry. So as soon as you cut out the bread, and he's now cottoned on, so he no longer wants his bread, he no longer wants his sandwiches to look the same as everybody else's lunch boxes. He prefers his salad with the meat on the side, and then that sustains him throughout the day. So watch what you are feeding your children, watch what you yourselves are eating. Your breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so make sure it's a proper breakfast with a good amount of protein in it so that you can set your day. And what you'll find is if you eat too much proteins, you'll have a tendency to nod off and feel overfull, almost like after a Sunday lunch. Also, if you're having too much starch, you can feel sleepy, especially at lunchtime. If you're having a high starch meal at lunchtime, you can feel sleepy after your lunch, or some people become aggressive and nasty after their lunch. Cut out your starch, eat your salads, eat your proteins, and you'll find that you are way better in the afternoons. Your energy levels will be much better, you'll be able to focus better, you will do your work quicker, you will save a lot of time and discomfort and that from eating properly. If you have a proper breakfast in the morning, you will be able to focus better in the morning and you'll get through your work quicker. So you will also sleep better at night if you have a proper meal at night. I know there's a lot of people that are doing intermittent fasting. What this means is you pick 16 hours of the day that you do not eat. I like to recommend this to my patients that are in their menopausal phase, because women of this age group do struggle to lose a lot of weight. And if you fast for 16 hours of the day, especially over the nighttime period where you're sleeping 8 of those 16 hours, then it's a lot easier to do. And if you try and exercise a little bit during that 16-hour phase as well, you will start losing a lot more weight a lot quicker. For those of you that cannot do it because you have low blood sugars at that stage and you feel a little bit unwell fasting for that amount of time, cut out your sugar and your starch and you will also see benefits of weight loss. So share this with your friends and family. If you see people are becoming nasty after lunch at work, if you see people are always hungry and snacking all the time, if you see people are sleepy after work, lunch, then please share this with them so that we can get everybody on the same page of being healthy and happy and hard workers, so that we can have more time off to ourselves and our family over the weekend. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye.